Free Life Show. I am Michelle Perkins, your host. I bring you tips, advice, and guest stories about creating work you love. Whatever type of career or business you have or want, I want to help you find more meaning, money, and happiness. Now we are live from Hollywood. Hello, and welcome to the Limit Free Life Show. We are actually, me and my reasons. I have a wonderful guest who is coming to us from New Mexico, and I myself am coming to you from my office today because traffic was literally made it impossible for me to get to the studio. So, yes, life in Los Angeles. Welcome. We are here every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and we bring you all kinds of tips, advice, and great guest interviews that are focused on certain subjects: career transition, business growth and development, and financial issues, money management, and more specifically, money mindset. So the goal of the show is to help you to create work you love. And so to that end, I have an expert on creating freedom in your life. And I can't wait to get started with our conversation. I'm going to introduce her right now. Her name is Dr. Marga Macias, and she was born and raised in the Philippines, immigrated to the United States in 1998. She has a Bachelor of Science in Biology and graduated with a doctorate in medicine in 1989. Her specialty trainings included double residency in pediatrics in both the United States and the Philippines, and a fellowship in pediatric critical care. She's been a doctor for 29 years and a pediatrician for 24 years and counting, and a mother of 2 wonderful children. She's an author. She's written a best-selling book, Turn Diabetes Around: 7 Simple Steps to Stop Diabetes in You and Your Family Forever. And she has written another book, Birthright. This is also a #1 best-selling book, Birthright: 5 Secrets to Reclaim the Power of You. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. The title of the show is Claiming Your Birthright and Embracing Your Power. And so we're going to get some great insights into that, something that I think everybody should really be trying to do in their own lives. So Dr. Macias, Marga, thank you for being here. So happy to have you.
It's great to be here with you.
Good, wonderful. Well, and I know you had to take time out of a really busy schedule, so it is very much appreciated. It's the middle of the day for you. So why don't you give us just a little bit of your background and tell us how, how you got to the place where you are doing a transition of your own and really transitioning into working into something that you are even more passionate about, I think, than what you've been doing, which is a passion-based practice in itself. So,
yes, well, I come from a family of doctors. Both my parents are doctors, and I'm the firstborn. So it was like, you're supposed to be a doctor, and so that's where I went into. I originally wanted to do interior design, but I realized that I could also help so much more people, and I'm, I love helping people be better and heal. And so it was natural for me just to fall into medicine. And I had been doing that for around 22 years. But 10 years ago in 2008, I had a ruptured aneurysm in my brain, and it nearly cost me my life. I almost died from that. And that also happened to be a period in my life where it was very, very dark and difficult. I had been a single mom for 18 years at that point. I was in a job that I was very depressed in because I was undervalued and underpaid and overworked. My father was dying then of cancer. And, I was losing also the love of my life that I've had for 7 years in a relationship. And so it felt like everything was falling apart. And then came the biggest whammy of all, that ruptured aneurysm. And my neurosurgeon actually called me his walking miracle, because he could not believe that I survived. Because when they opened up my brain, I was told it apparently seemed that I had bled twice. So I survived 2 ruptured aneurysms, and he said people normally on the spot will just die. And those that do survive the surgery, they can also have an incident. I mean, they can even die on the table, or they can even have a stroke within the first 2 weeks. But for me to emerge with so much blood in my brain, 100% intact, was a miracle for him. So he did. That's why he called me his walking miracle. And it was at that point where I realized that there is more to my life than an 8 to 5 job every single day. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I love dealing with the children. You know, I love watching them grow, but there was like something more that was calling to me. And, you know, ever since that time, I've learned and grown myself, because as I went through the deepest, darkest periods, I climbed my way out of it. Right. And back then, I really didn't have the assistance of people to help me. So it was like an individual struggle, a growth period, learning on my own how to do things. And in the process was able to help other people from my experiences, and enough to inspire people and ask, you know, to have people ask me, why don't you do something about it? Why don't you write a book? Why don't you help other people? And so I said, yes, you know, that's a wonderful thing. And nothing brings me so much joy than to see somebody who was broken or lost or so crippled by life's challenges or the misfortunes that happened to them, climb out of that and become someone bigger and brighter, you know, through that process or because of that process, and by my being a part of it. And so that was my drive. This is my true passion. I do still love my job. Don't get me wrong. I do it still. But, you know, as it becomes later in my career, I've been doing this for 24 years. I hope to finally, you know, make a transition where I do less of the clinical work and be able to reach out to more people, not just locally, but internationally, because some of my clients are also from different countries.
That's wonderful. And I love the fact that, you know, your background is really curing people and helping them physically. And this is really more, you're addressing their you know, their inner selves and their mind, and you know, helping them. I believe you can give us more details on exactly, you know, what the work is that you do with people, but it seems to me like bringing both the physical and the mental aspects of healing. That's really quite unique.
Yes, because when we deal with medicine, we're trained to look at the physical body and say, okay, this is what's wrong, here's how you fix it. But there's so much more to that than just a physical body, because there's the emotional balance, there's the spiritual balance, there's the, you know, it's like, you know, all in your mind too. So if one part fails, if one part, I look at the body, a human body, as like a vehicle where you have 4 wheels. You have your physical body, your spiritual body, your emotional body, and you know, the drive that you have inside you. And so if one of them fails, or if one of those tires is flat, then you can't go so far. So I want to fine tune a person so that all 4 are working balanced equally so that they can get to where they want to go. And I had learned a lot of that through my own experience, because I've been through that. So I'm not just preaching from a pulpit. I have been down in the trenches myself. And through my experiences working, helping myself, and also eventually in the future working with mentors, I was able to hone my skills and develop, you know my strengths and know where I can really be of help to many people.
Right, right. So we titled the show "Claiming Your Birthright." What can you tell us a little about what that means and how you help people to do that?
Yes, birthright. The premise of my book, Birthright, is that everyone is born to greatness. But so that's why your birthright is that you are born to greatness. And when you are that person, when you become all that you are, then you can achieve anything that you set your mind to. But life throws us so many challenges and difficulties, and many of them break us down or make us lose a part of ourselves or make us forget the gifts and the talents and the strengths that we had, so you either by circumstances or by people around you, even sometimes from family members, that they can cloud your vision of who you truly are and how brightly you can shine. So that's where I come in, because everybody's unique to me. I don't treat people as a cookie cutter pattern. I individualize my treatment because every story is unique, every life, every experience is unique. And so I will customize what's wrong, what are their roadblocks, what's keeping them from voicing out their concerns, what's keeping them from shining, what's keeping them from moving forward, what are the fears that are holding them back, that are afraid of, that's keeping them from living the life of their dreams. And so it's baby steps. I take care of all the different aspects, and then eventually it's funny because it's like you're dealing with a baby, or maybe let's say an 11-month-old. They don't know how to walk. So you teach them how to walk patiently, slowly. And then they're holding your hand. And then eventually they're just holding a finger. And then when they have all the confidence in the world, they let go and they run. So that's how I like to apply it to my clients. I understand that it's going to be a difficult, road in the beginning, but I'm not going to give up. And that's one thing that I think is one of my strengths is I never give up. But I need to see that you want to do your part too. So if you don't give up, I'm right beside you, and together we're going to get through it.
Wow, that's beautiful. So are you talking to people, or are you working with people who, you say they're kind of broken? Is that are they depressed? I mean, what exactly do you mean by that?
Yes, I mean, they can be depressed, or they can be discouraged, or they can be anxious, or they can be afraid.
Okay.
There's so many different kinds of factors that will pull somebody back or will keep them from stepping forward. And many of these are circumstances or life events that are, not by any fault of their own, by circumstances around them.
Right.
And so, because as children, we were born spunky. I mean, we fought, and we went through, we survived any possible complication, and we emerged, complete and whole. And just think about toddlers. They do not have any filter. They speak their minds. They just go for it. They say what they want to say. They do what they want to do. But then, you have people and circumstances. No, that's not the way you're supposed to do it. Oh, no, this is going to upset somebody. Oh, no, that's not right. This is not good. That's not good for you. So, so many ideas kind of hold you back. And so I want to unravel and unfold. First of all, let's identify what your passion is, what you really want from life. And then let's unfold and open up and clean out anything that could have been an obstacle towards your getting there.
Right. So do you start, because I love also to help people find their gifts and their strengths. And so I'd love to hear some tips from you on, how you help people to do that. It sounds like it should be simple, but as you know, people they're not in touch with their natural strengths or gifts typically.
Yes. And sometimes it's a hidden thing, or it's a quiet passion that they're afraid to let people know. And so, or because they put themselves last, I really want to do this. This is really my love. But then I have my family, I have my career, I have so many things. And so they put so many obstacles in front, and instead of taking time to embrace their power and celebrate themselves and give themselves the time that they need to be able to blossom. So, and that's why it's a very unique process for everyone, because I first need to get to know the person well and know their story and know what it is, so that I can help them, streamline their lives and help them find ways to not to, not be afraid to step forward and move in a direction that they want to. Because, when you put others ahead of yourself all the time, I'm not talking, it's not, of course, it's not bad. I do it as much as another. But then if you're always the last one on the line for time for yourself, then things are going to start to fall apart. And then the miserable one is going to be you. You might have everybody up and ready and healthy and happy and going, but you probably are drained of your energy, or you just don't have it in you to even move forward anymore because you're so exhausted. So that's why I said it's an overhaul.
Okay. Wonderful. So, again, claiming your birthright is that about really identifying who you are, really finding both your passion and your gifts and talents? Is that what that is?
Yes, it tells you. I mean, there's a lot of stories in there, so that's what makes it interesting, because stories from clients, because more often than not, they'll say, yep, that sounds like me, or yes, I can relate to that. And in that, I enumerate, or I list down all the most common roadblocks that stop people from getting there.
Okay.
Then I give them my 5 solutions, 5 simple solutions. There's not a whole list that you really want to sit down and think about for yourself and be inspired with, so that as you have all these solutions in place, then the roadblocks slowly fall away, and then you'll find yourself more confident and driven to move forward.
So some of the common roadblocks, and I'd love to hear the 5 solutions. I know we have to read the book or talk to you to get the real meat of it, but if you can just kind of let us in on those, just a summary version of the 5 solutions, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, the roadblocks, there's a lot. There's of course, so many different kinds of fears that happen: fear of abandonment, fear of criticism, and also your own insecurities that happen along the way, or life, whatever life throws at you. I mean, there's so many different roadblocks that each person has, and some of them I might not even know about just yet, but it's always, there's the fear of not being loved, not being appreciated, fear of speaking in your own voice. And so, it's some of the tips I give, for example, is finding your strength, and your own voice, not like people expect you to say, but your own voice, not what people expect you to do, but what you want to do, Yeah,
and that can throw people in your world off a little bit. So it is uncomfortable to start, once you get comfortable with it, it becomes easier. But that jumping off point where, they know you as one person, and then all of a sudden they're hearing from you and you don't sound like you anymore. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a drastic change, it's a gradual transition.
Right.
And also, like, one of them is like engaging with fearless honesty. So, like I said, that goes along with embracing your own voice, and not being afraid to speak up, not being afraid to say, I need this. This is what I really want to do. And of course, another one is that make your own path, because just as people are unique, don't be afraid to go to off-driven paths. Because, one way for what you think, what you read as, successful for one, may not be the right one for you because of the circumstances around your life.
Right.
So don't be afraid to step in uncharted waters to find the solution for yourself,
Right. I love that.
Those are, among them. And then, of course, the other one is the find somebody to work with, like a mentor. And it doesn't necessarily have to be me, but someone that you can go to who's open-minded enough, unbiased, and so who can see through you and help you, like I said, clear out whatever is holding you back, so that you can step forward bravely and with confidence.
Right. And that's so important, because we're talking about you, and you're doing really deep work, within yourself. Is very hard to see everything when it's you. So.
And sometimes it takes an outside person to see that, because like some of the clients I work with, I mean, they're wonderful, absolutely brilliant people. And I look up to them. But then, it's when they speak to me, sometimes they don't I see something that they don't see. And so I said, have you ever considered this? Yeah. Or why don't you do it this way? And all of a sudden it's like the aha moment, like the light bulb went on. It says, I never, in all my however many years of existence, I never saw that perspective, that point of view. Right. And so they take it, they embrace it, and the next time I follow up with them, things are better for them, and they're happier. So it's fun. Mm-hmm. I love doing this, and it's also very rewarding when you see that you do make a difference somehow.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I love that. So so the five solutions again, I think. You get them all?
I won't give them all so that you can look at the book, because I promise you it's going to be entertaining. I really think it's going to be entertaining. And what the readers who have seen it is that there are so many, there's so many stories that are so relatable. So many times you say, yes, that was me. And I was very vulnerable in that book. It was hard to write some parts about the things that I went through. Yes. And so in that way, in being open and vulnerable, you'll know also that I was there with you. I am with you. And so if I can get through it, I'm trying to help you, teach you how to get through it yourself too.
Right. I love that. And it makes me think that, part of claiming your birthright is really, it comes from being kind of brutally honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. And maybe with a mentor or somebody, so that you can really, start really from a clean slate where everything is new and fresh. And
yes, and one of the things too that because I love to learn, I love to explore. The more I can learn about myself, the more I'll be able to help others. And so I'm working with mentors right now, and I will continue to work with mentors so that I can fine-tune myself and make myself the best tool for anybody that I work with. And in that process, I also have discovered that I have, but my intuitive powers, strengths are remarkable. I didn't realize it until they pointed it out to me. And as I work together with them, I'm seeing that too. So if somebody is trying to keep things from me, I'll be able to tell if it's off. I'll be able to tell if there's something that is still inside there that's stuck. And so, through patience, you can slowly bring that out.
Right. Yeah, that's so important. And I just, I've done, a lot of that work, and just that ability to peel things back and really see yourself and be okay. I mean, you do get very honest with yourself, and you realize how you've been covering up some things that just, you need to just accept or embrace, or whatever that is. And it does allow you not only to know, I found that learning to understand and be aware of your strengths is a great thing, but it's also really great to create an appreciation for them, because I found that some of your natural gifts are so natural that you take them for granted. You don't really appreciate them. You think that everybody else can do them too, because they're not that hard for you. Yeah. But that's not the case. You're very different, and your own gifts are not necessarily gifts that are easy for other people to.
Absolutely. And so, and you can learn from them and they learn from you. It's a win-win for people. Yeah. I also learn from my clients, Yeah. And so it's moving forward together. Right. That's the nice part about it. And so it's, like I said, it's when I see success stories where I'm a part of it, it just, nothing brings me more joy than that.
Yeah. Well, so people have become more aware of their strengths, and how do they take that and then leverage that into, I'm assuming that when you're talking about helping people, it could be any area of life. It's not necessarily work, or, it's any goals that people have, basically.
Yes, it always boils down to what's number one thing that you really want to achieve at this point. What aspect of your life do you feel is lacking or missing, and why do you think it's lacking or missing? What do you think is keeping you from getting to that point? You know, and so slowly, like layers of an onion, you unpeel things until you get down to the core. What's going on with that? And it can be anything, you know, your relationships with your family, with your significant others or whoever you have in your life, your children, your job, you know, yourself, even yourself.
Right.
So there's so many different facets in life that, you know, and some you're really good at, you have it down pat, but then there's some where you say, I need something there, or, you know, I feel a lack, I feel a need, I don't feel fulfilled, I'm scared to do something. And so, and that, you know, and you, when you know that there's something else that you want to do, but you can't do it, it's difficult to live with that every single day. So,
right.
You know, and it's not a miracle thing, you know, that's why my programs are 3, 6, 12 months, depending on how much you want to work. But it's because some are so difficult and heavy.
Yeah.
And even heavy for me to hear. So, you know, it's like, okay, you know, what do I do with this? How did I cope with this? And to just kind of guide them through that process too. Like I said, I mean, there's 1,000 examples, if not more, because everybody is so unique.
Right.
And so, you know, it's the situations that make this interesting. But then at the same time, you know, the harder it is, the sweeter the success.
Right, absolutely. Nothing really great is easy to achieve, it seems like. Yeah. Well, so being an MD, do you see how addressing these inner issues, what is the impact on your physical health as well? Are they connected somehow?
To the physical health? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's why I said there's the 4 wheels of the car are all together. They're interlocked. You can't separate one from the other. Like, for instance, if you are extremely diabetic, or if you have heart issues, or if you have, you know, some mental problems that you're dealing with, you can't be perfectly balanced spiritually, emotionally, and mentally if your body is failing you. Right. So you've got to fix all 4 tires. Not one. I mean, yes, one could be higher than the other. The wheel might be a little bit more hydrated, but not flat with a point where you can't even move. Because all it takes is one flat wheel and you can't go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
That's the analogy. So it's really looking at all different aspects. So I will not just focus on your physical self. I mean, you have issues. There's so many, you know, diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, anxiety, depression, the list goes on. We fix that one. And then how does that tie into the other aspects of your life? And then, you know, take it from there.
Right. Yeah, I think it's all really interesting because although I consider this to be in a lot of ways a business oriented show, I've been having a lot of people on lately who are, you know, coaches or people in nutrition and other areas, but, you know, being an entrepreneur is hard work, and you have to have a high level of energy. You have to feel good. And so, you know, you really can't stress enough the importance of taking care of yourself, both, you know, mentally, emotionally, physically. You know, it really takes being solidly and healthy in every way to be able to really have the success that you want in business or, you know, financially, whatever. So
yes, that's why that physical aspect is very important, you know, because if you neglect some part of yourself, you're not going to be able to function optimally. And not only that, but your journey to where you want to go is so much longer and harder and slower.
Right. And we see so many people working themselves to the bone, really, to try to achieve.
And then what happens? They fall over from a heart attack, you know? There's so many stories that way. Or they may be so successful in their careers and their jobs, but then, you know, their relationships suffer. So you've got to have that balance wherein, you know, you give of yourself, but not to drain yourself completely. and you
Right.
must know how to refuel yourself.
Right. Right. What are some of the things that you tell people as far as refueling? I like that.
I've tried to find out first what their passions are, because, you know, some people love music, some people love to dance, some people love to exercise like crazy. So whatever it is that gives you your, you know, that brings up your mojo, then that's what I want you to do. Like one of my clients, she says, I love to do yoga. But then she opted to take away that hour and a half of her yoga to be more productive, you know, to catch up on the work that she wanted to do.
Right.
But I told her, do you realize that when you remove that part, that and you immediately go wham bam straight into your work, you know, after a point you're just going to burn out and you're not going to be able to stay there for the rest of your day. But if that brings you in such a spiritual, emotional, physical high, then guess what? All that work that you're going to have to do, you're going to do it another time because you fueled your body. So
right.
Things like that.
Right. Yeah. I know it's really, it's very interesting to get that balance down. And in the world that you operate in, typically with doctors and nurses and people, they, you know, I think they lean in many ways to being not that balanced. Oddly, I find that nurses really kill themselves, and then they really have to come home and just sleep, or, you know, that's a very difficult lifestyle. I from what I can tell. So very hard when you're, you know, how do you help a person to create more of that balance when they really, you know, they have jobs where they're working very hard. It's some physical work as well as mental work, and then they have to get sleep to refuel, and, you know, maybe they have kids or whatever. Where do you fit in
that's when you prioritize, you know, what is it you need to do. And in that priority list of things to do, you must have a time for yourself. And then we go through, what do they think they have to do every single day? Because most of them don't have to be, are not urgent. They can delegate, or they can, you know, not be so rigid or fixed about something. And in that time, free it for yourself. But it always has to be, and the number one thing there on the spot was, take care of me first before I can take care of my business or my family and everything else. It's just like in the airplane, you put your oxygen mask first before you help the others.
Yeah.
Simple. I mean, simple in a one way, but hard for many to do.
Yeah, very, very simple in as a concept, but the practical aspect of it is difficult. But, you know, I mean, a lot of things in life are simple, and they're just hard to implement, but they're simple ideas. And if we just would do those simple ideas, we'd all be a lot better off. So
break it down.
Very interesting. I love that. And that's the other reason, having a mentor to hold you accountable to doing these things that are simple, but they take determination and intention, and, you know, just making the space to do them. And sometimes we have to kind of have somebody looking over our shoulder to help us make sure we're doing them.
Right, and realize too that a mentor will be able to see things that you cannot see, or visualize something that you're not able to visualize, or to, you know, to see. And so, and they also have, depending of course who you choose, because there are a gazillion mentors out there, that not everybody will deliver what they promise. Not everybody has the credentials to do what they're supposed to do. So
absolutely,
choose it wisely, because when you do, then it's like they'll fine-tune you, you know, so they can be such an asset to you. And I work with mentors, so you may say, oh, she has it all. No, I don't have it all, because I'm constantly learning and growing. Right. I have experiences that throw me off. Like, I had a very difficult past 2 months, and it was a struggle for me to get through. Mm-hmm. And so I realized, and it's funny because I said, you know, when I got at that point, I said, oh yeah, read the book. And so I read my own book. It's funny, my own book. I said, okay, I got it now. Then I go. Then I have my mentors to kind of push me and inspire me and guide me. And so then I'm fully charged again.
Right. I do the same. I think that's really, we all need that help. So and so I think that, you know, I have my own ideas about how you stand out, because you do have in my opinion, I consider it credibility to have had the profession as a pediatrician and as a doctor that you have. I think that brings so much to the table. But how else do you think that you stand out in this way?
Well, it's like I said, it's not tailor made. It's not custom made. Everybody is unique, and so I will strip a person to the core to find out what's going on gently, not like pulling out the Band-Aid.
Right.
And I can individualize a person's management in all aspects, putting together 29 years of experience of helping people in different ways. Because realize too that when I, like for example, was in ICU, you have everything there. A dying person, you have depression, you have so much emotional things going on with a family. So I was able to pull people out of it and have so many success stories where I know and I sense, and this is a gift I didn't realize I had. I could sense when they were gone, and I could sense when they were still there fighting. So sometimes even my own boss at that time who was training me would say, okay, you got to prepare, it's going to be a matter of days and we're losing him. And I go back into the room afterwards and says, Bill, trust me, I'm sensing something different. Please talk to him or her and tell them that you're fighting with them, that you're right there every day, please. And at all those times, the patient came through.
Wow, that's a gift. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's something I discovered afterwards, because it's that sense, that gut, that that intuition that this child is fighting for their life. They're there.
Right.
So, but then here comes my boss and say, we've done everything, they're going to go. And the parents are bawling their eyes out, and I come back, say, don't listen to me, please, for you have nothing else to lose. Please trust me. Talk to this kid. Talk to him. Tell them you're there. I'm here for you. And some strange thing, one of them actually came back to me after he left the ICU. And they said there was a visitor for me, and I rounded the corner, and there he came walking towards me. This boy who was on the brink of death. I mean, he was practically almost dead. That's what I did with the parents. And then the parents came to me, and he hugged me, and I was just bawling like a baby. And then the parents told him, tell Dr. Margot what you told us. And he said that, and I'm talking about a 10-year-old child. So this is not somebody who makes something up. He said, I remember seeing my body from above and you telling Nana and Mommy not to give up on me.
Wow. That gives me chills. Wow.
Yeah. So I'm honing that skill even more. So I guess that's what makes me unique. It's not just, the superficial level of physical, emotional, mental, spiritual health. It is beyond that, because there's so much power, that lies above. And it's whatever you believe in, whatever, even if you're an atheist, there must be some higher source of strength or power that you look into or you tap into. I'm open-minded to anything. So I'm not rigid.
Right.
Whole spectrum.
Wow, that's great. And I love the fact that you're still diagnosing in either career that you've been. I think that's great, because you really, those are skills that you've developed. Not only do you have innate skills, but you have well-developed, skills from your experience. As far as, embracing your power, which is another thing that we talked about at the beginning. So you're claiming your birthright and you're embracing your power. When you say that, what does that mean? How does that help people?
When you embrace your power, then there's no longer fear or anxiety that holds you back.
Okay.
You're brave. You're strong. You are not afraid to step forward and say, this is what I want. I'm going to pursue my passion. This is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And yes, you can have some heckling and you can have some people, pulling your back, even your loved ones holding you back and say, no, that's not right. No, you can't do this. You can't do this. You're not supposed to do this. And eventually, like from my experiences in my life, that you still hold your ground and you keep on going. And then when you get there, it's like an awakening for other people too. They says, I see now I see why she pushed for that. Mm-hmm. And life is so much better for not just yourself, but for everyone you're with.
Yeah, I love that. And it drives home the idea that, embracing power doesn't mean something, sometimes that can be construed in kind of a negative way, like, power over people. And there's a women's leadership author, Gloria Felch. She's been around for a long time. And she talks about it not being power over, but power to. And that's what you're talking about, power to reach your potential or, live out your dreams.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you don't like the word power, use strength. Mm-hmm. Live in your strength.
I like the word power, but I like to make that clear that it doesn't have to be, if you're wanting to do wonderful, socially conscious, good things in the world, you still want to embrace your power because that's what's going to give you, the fuel to be able to, and the courage, like you said, to be able to do what you want to do, which is of service.
And that's what's going to keep you going when things are falling apart around you.
Right.
If you have it in you and you remember how to pull it back for yourself, mm-hmm. how to fix yourself, how to, mend the broken patches, then you're, again, fine-tuning your entire body, mm-hmm. emotionally, spiritually, so that's physically too. So that's 4 of them: mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. Then, buckle your seatbelts because so far.
Right. And what do you say to the person who literally has no idea? They've been either working so hard or focused on other people, children or whoever. They literally don't know what they want. Or if they're, sometimes people, things have been squelched for so long that you're trying to help them and they don't know what their gifts are. They don't know what they want. They don't know what they're capable of.
Then it'll be pretty simple. Then let's rephrase it. If you don't know what your dreams are, if you don't know what you want, then my basic question to you is, what makes you happy? Mm-hmm. What brings a spark in your life? What makes you smile? What's that goodness that you enjoy doing so much?
Right.
And what else can you do from that? So you slowly build up and eventually says, oh yes, I used to really love to, to paint or to sing, or I really thought about opening my own store, or I really, like me, thought about becoming a mentor one day, or it's also, and then little ideas, they plant the seeds, and then next thing you know, it grows. And so there's so many endless possibilities.
Right. But you have to get people to reconnect with themselves and what they even care about. They lose track. People, yeah.
Yes. When you're fatigued and overwhelmed, you can't think straight.
Right.
And that's why, that's one of the things I make sure I have to do, because I have to practice what I preach. So I can't tell you give time for yourself if I'm overworked and I lack sleep. So I make it a point, do everything I can. And that's why I go away often on vacations to recharge myself. Mm-hmm. I surround myself with people who uplift me, mm-hmm. bring me up, I learn and read things that interest me. Mm-hmm. I listen to classical music or the things that even just lift my vibration.
Right. So
it doesn't have to be huge, monumental, or expensive things. It's the little things in small increments that can instantly lift you up.
Right.
We try to find, because it's got to be baby steps. You can't expect to make big leaps and bounds. It's got to be baby steps, and eventually your steps will get bigger and bigger, and then you're just flying and running.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. And it is a practice. You have to be intentional about it. You have to make the time and do these things. It doesn't, I think people sometimes think that other people just naturally, find this in their life, but they don't. They're doing something to make it happen.
I practice it every day, and I know when I'm not doing it because something falls apart. And so I told myself,
Yeah.
getting more sleep,
Yeah.
or you should be delegating that or letting go of that one, or no, there's too much negative emotion around that thing, pull away.
Right.
You have to know also when to say no, when to pull away, when to say no, that doesn't resonate with me. Don't be afraid to speak up or open, speak your mind, open your heart.
Right.
Be vulnerable. It's okay. And if they judge you or treat you wrongly or look at you differently because of that, then guess what? They're probably not the people to have in your life, because they're the ones that are going to dampen your dreams. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Clean house.
Yeah, a clean house is good. And we're coming up to the new year, so it's perfect timing actually to do your house cleaning.
Yes.
So tell the listening audience how they can connect with you.
Well, the easiest way is just to go to my website. My website, it's md.com. And over there, you will have access to my books, To Turn Diabetes Around and The Birthright. Oh, and speaking of Turn Diabetes Around, I just had a really happy story, because one of my nurses who I mentor, she's 9 months free of diabetes after working with me. So that's a real big happy thing. So there you have access to my books. And also you're able to make an appointment with me if you want to schedule a talk. And I call it like a discovery conversation. So I ask you questions, you can ask me questions, and then more or less we find out if we're a good fit to work together, and then we take it from there.
Wonderful. That's great. Well, thank you so much for sharing some time in your day with us today. And, everything you were saying has resonated with me, and I'm sure with listeners. And, what a wonderful gift to be able to help yourself in all those areas. So like you say, you've got all cylinders working for you. That really is the way to a limit-free life. So thank you, Dr. Marga, for coming on. And okay. Bye. Yes, listeners, we are so thankful to have you here, and very much appreciate you listening today. So we are here on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, and if you have any questions for us, please send me an email, michelle@limitfreelife.com, and we can tackle some of your questions on the air. And please come visit my website, limitfreelife.com, and I have some ways to get in touch with me, some free giveaways, some information on there that I'd love to share with you. So have a wonderful holiday. We're not going to see you until after, or hear from you, or beyond until after Christmas. So have a wonderful holiday, and we'll look forward to seeing you after that.
About the work that I do is that your work is yours to create. This is your piece of art that you can create in your life, and there's really nothing stopping you. Overall, most of us can learn what we need to learn and figure out what we need to figure out and create that fabulous career or business that we dream about. And there's really no reason to think that you can't. My name is Michelle Perkins, and I am the CEO and founder of a company called Limit Free Life. And I help men and women to make dramatic change in their lives so that they can have the fulfillment, fun, and financial prosperity that they have always wanted to find through their work. The main services I offer through Limit Free Life are one-on-one private coaching, group coaching, trainings and seminars, and business consulting. My signature service is one-on-one coaching over a period of time, 3 months, 6 months, even a year. It really allows a person to decide on an outcome that they desire, and then for us to work together to really achieve that outcome in full. The type of clients that I typically work with are professional men and women who are driven to do more, who might be entrepreneurs, but also career professionals who work in organizations, who are really looking to do more with their lives and very open to thinking in new ways about what they're doing, and who are willing to take responsibility, do the work, make some changes, and who don't say I can't a whole lot. Clients up-level in a number of ways. For some, they start a business after being in the corporate world. For others, they have an existing business and they really figure out the key and the formula to making that business grow and take off. For some, it's a matter of really developing courage. And for many, it's a matter of up-leveling their view of themselves, what they're capable of, how powerful they are, what their strengths are, and where they can go in life. What I see also is that there's a spark that kind of gets lit, and that flame keeps growing within them, and there are things that they want that maybe they were reluctant to even express that they wanted, and now they just go for it. They have bigger wants and bigger dreams than they had before, and this sense that they can achieve those things. I feel very strongly that money beliefs are foundational to developing a business that can scale and grow and become the business that you want it to be, whatever level of success that is. And for people who feel stuck or their business isn't going the way they want, a lot of times it comes back to some of these money beliefs. So as a certified money mindset coach, I have the training to help people understand where their hidden money beliefs are either interfering in their lives or businesses or coming into play in some fashion in all the decisions that they're making, both in their business and in their life. The overall mission behind my work is to help people love their work, to find satisfaction, fulfillment, fun, and also to be financially prosperous in what they're doing. That combination to me is a perfect recipe for making work a great part of your life. And so that's my vision, is for people to see work and money as allies in their life and things they can lean on so that they have something that makes them feel important and something that gives them a place to go to develop a sense of identity and purpose and meaning in the world. My greatest hope for my clients is that they will develop a holistic relationship with work, money, and life, and there won't be this separation where they go to work and then they live their life after work, and they will develop work or businesses that they love, they look forward to going to, and they give them the freedom and the income and the happiness that they're looking for in their life.
Welcome to the Limit Free Life Show. I'm Michelle Perkins, your host. I bring you tips, advice, and guest stories about creating work you love. Whatever type of career or business you have or want, I want to help you find more meaning, money, and happiness. Now we are live from Hollywood.
Hello, and welcome to the Limit Free Life Show. We are actually, me and my guest today are Zooming in for various reasons. I have a wonderful guest who is coming to us from New Mexico, and I myself